Hi everyone, welcome to this session, Digital Business Strategy Syllabus of Business Level 2 coursework of Chartered Institute. So, I'll be conducting the entire lessons of this subject, Digital Business Strategy, me myself Yasmin Gunathilaka, and I'll be taking you through the all 11 lessons of this subject. So this video will give you an overview and an overall idea of what kind of subject content we are going to learn in the syllabus and how do we proceed. So we'll have a understanding how we are move on. Before starting with that, I would just like to give a small idea into this subject. As you all know, Chartered Institute recently brought this subject, digital business strategy. It captures some digital marketing aspects and some information technology aspects, especially certain technologies quite new to the world as well. So this is a bit new subject. So there will be certain jargons quite technological, tech savvy, and some of them are quite new and never heard. So it will be a bit difficult. So I'll promise that I'll try my maximum to bring them to a simplified version and to in a kind of a practical world scenario, because certain concepts are still in ideological level. So I'll try to bring them into a practical world so you can understand so easily. And with this subject, I just wanted to tell you, like, we'll be using very interactive tools and new learning methods to teach you all these subjects. Since the nature of the subject is digital, we use smart modes and so many new and live examples to bring it to a practical and very knowledgeable and very easy, comfortable learning zone for you all. And as I told, I'll be bringing so many examples. Most of them are from the Sri Lankan context and also from the world scenarios, world context. So that will be more easy for you to understand the subject area. Also, I should say some of the learning outcomes are theoretical and some of them are practical. So this is a combination of both practical and theoretical aspects. All right, so we'll see what are we going to talk today. In this first video, the introductory video, I'll be giving a small introduction to digital, the information technology rather I would say, and we'll understand how the paper would go ahead with the structure of the paper. And thirdly, the subject content, like I'll go one by one to lesson wise, so what kind of content that would include and how do we proceed, and finally our strategy, our plan for the subject, how do we proceed throughout next 11 sessions. Okay, we'll start with the introduction straight away. As you know, the digital sphere, this information technology influence has impacted so many industries, companies, even people's day-to-day lifestyle as well. I mean, for an example, why you and me are here, right? Few reasons, like because Chartered Institute obviously they wanted to bring a digital subject, so we had to study, and instead of you are going to a physical class, why you are here with online accounting to tell kids? Just because this enhancement, this upliftment of this digital technology, because this is the era that people, the students and all the companies want to get on board with digital. So for an example, if you could remember like what happened during the coronavirus outbreak, so many people wanted to get on board with digital. So they just wanted the physical meetups and physical businesses, then just converted into digital aspects, digital facet of that subject. So for an example, I'll give you an insight. I'm going to show you the digital stats, like how the world is savvy, or world is quite empowered with digital, with a live example. So guys, this is from the statista.com, and this stat shows the global digital population as of April 2020. So if you could say, uh, active internet users are like, it's around 4.57 billion, right? So like, how many people, what's the population in the world today? So it's around 7 to 8 billion, more or less. So see, half of that are active internet users, 4.57. Even unique mobile internet users, there are 4.2, and active social media users almost 4 billion. So you can see the gravity, you can see the importance of digital being used by companies and brands. So we'll move with that presentation. And these are stats, like these stats are directly from the Hootsuite, one of the social media, I would say, management tool, like a world recognized platform, Hootsuite. So according to their January prediction, like January statistics, uh, out of the total population, 55% are urbanized people, and uh, unique mobile users are there around like 5 billion. Even that social media, the internet users are there 4.5. So you can see the impact or the gravity, how digital is taking the leverage, or taking, I mean, how the digital is invading the world. And if I go quickly, Sri Lankan prisons, you can see 62% there are mobile phone users, and even from laptop desktops there are 36%, and the tablets and other devices. So it's a huge, the market is, the population, digital population is quite huge. So if you could see Sri Lankan Facebook usage, 5.9 million. You know, there are 21 to 22 million population in Sri Lanka. Out of that, almost 6 million are using Facebook. And if you could take Instagram, almost 1 million. So you can see the impact. If you take Twitter, is quite low in Sri Lanka, that's true, but even it takes to an amount of 264,000. And if you take LinkedIn, the most popular social media platform for professionals, so it comes to around 1 million in Sri Lanka, so which is quite a good number. And these figures are quite important to you financial professionals. Uh, so these people say 75%, 74% of people are having an affiliation, like they are having an account with financial institution, like 74% of the people who are online, right? And 5.3 of them are having a credit card, and 2.4 are having a money related account. So you can see the figure, like you can see how impact the digital is making to the society, for financial industry as well. uh, so why, you being a financial professional, why do you learn this digital subject? Like, I give a couple of thoughts. Like, now, compared to the traditional era, you will have to work with digital based or information system based softwares. Like previously, you might have worked with CR books, other so many traditional books and write-ups, and so many receipts, printouts, and so many invoices. But today, everything happen on online. So you being professionals, you have to accept, you have to be familiar with this digital environment. So that's why the subject is here. Also, another good thought that I suggest, let's say, I mean, with the digital this enhancement, marketeers and IT guys, they want to uplift new systems. They want to bring so many investments, digital investments, to the companies, to the organizations. So you being financial professionals, without knowing this digital stuff, how are you going to analyze, how we are going to appraise on these investments? So that's an issue. So that's why this digital subject is here with you today. So this will give you an overview and well understanding of how this digital world, digital elements, digital investments will work in your organization. All right. So we'll have an understanding of the paper. Like, I understand, like when we say digital, the uh, and I mean the scope is quite huge. It's unlimited. I mean, it's emerging. So what we are going to do, like we are going to catering to like narrow down the subject into the paper, and we'll see uh, from the point of the examination paper, we'll see what kind of way we should follow and what kind of questions will be asked at examination, which will be quite important to you. All right. So basically, this will be a 2 hours paper based on OTQ. Oh, if you ask what are these OTQ, like it's objective test questions. Like, so it's not only MCQs. So it includes MCQs, true or false questions, and tick boxes maybe, and fill in the blanks. So likewise, very small, like very structured, like you will definitely have to know the answer. You can't do essay type write-ups, so you have to be very specific and very narrowed down to the content and give the answer. So that will be the nature of the subject. And um, as you know, you'll have to get 50 marks out of 100, so which would be quite easier. I mean, there will be 100 marks and 50 questions, like, so it'll be easier definitely with the way we are going to present and we are going to teach you. That's definitely going to be easier. And this will be most of the time computer based, as they have announced, except for the first batch, for the March batch. Other examination will take place as online examinations. We'll move in then. Okay, so if we have a look at the structure of the subject, the entire syllabus has been brought down to four main pillars, I would say, or four main categories. So the first part will have 20%, and then 25, and big 30%, and 25% to the latter part of the syllabus. So these four items will be having, I mean, the 11 lessons will be brought down to these four categories. If we could go to the first one, this introduction to business strategy technology. This element, I mean, there are three subjects, three lessons. These three lessons will tell you why companies should implement information technology strategies, why companies should follow digital business strategies. So it will give an overview what is this business strategy, like a digital business strategy. What is digital business strategy and how it's been implemented to corporate strategy, and the advantages, disadvantages of digital business strategy, etc. And after getting an understanding of the digital business strategy and where it fit and the benefits of that, it will move to the second pillar, which carries 25% marks weightage. So this will give how you should manage technology inside your business or inside your organization, right? I mean, for an example, it's true that digital will bring you a competitive advantage, a value to you. But what will happen if you don't know how to manage that? I mean, if you don't have quality people to manage the technology within your organization, I mean, there is no point, right? So that's why that session, that kind of topic is being discussed at this second part, the managing information business pillar. And then thirdly, this 30%, like the bigger portion of the syllabus, nature and scope of e-business. This term, e-business, is quite important because this has a huge scope, even in the world context and also in the Sri Lankan context. And this has so many practical approach. And I mean, what is e-business, what is e-commerce, and like so many, I would say, so many avenues, right? Uh, so there we are going to talk a deeper and lot more about e-business and models and practical examples and so many things, right? I mean, being honest with you, me too, like I would really like to go ahead with this subject because I mean, those are so many practical and we can see so many live example with this subject. And then we'll move to the final session, the last 25% mark session. Uh, this is known as the marketing strategies in digital age. Like I would say digital marketing strategies or digital marketing applications, right? So at this part, the digital concept is mixed or blended with marketing principles. So there are, if I'm not mixing, there are also three lessons. And these three lessons will go ahead like mobile, social media marketing, mobile marketing, content marketing, how the digital will play in marketing avenues. So that will also carry 25% mark. So as you can see, like 20, 25, 30 and 25. So these weightages, these elements will go ahead in this syllabus process with 11 subjects, and I think these are quite would be comfortable with these interactive methods and bring, I mean, the way that we bring it to you. All right, so now we come to the some kind of a boring session of the part, because I'm going to go one by one into the lessons to give you an understanding what kind of lessons are we are going to discuss, and the content and the way we are going to do. So bear with me, I'm going to take this bit slowly and deeper into subject wise. Right. We'll start with the first one, the business management process and technology. As I told you, this subject will tell you to know how the technology can be used to increase the productivity and take the competitive advantage in your organization. So as you are being newcomers to this particular digital business strategy or digital business subject, understanding what an advantage can bring to your organization is important. So that's why this particular subject will give you the idea how the digital business, so how the information technology can bring advantage or the competitive advantage to your organization, right? Under this, there are a set of deliverables. I would say one-to-one content. Like we are going to speak about strategy. What is strategy, like definitions, and I'll give you some practical examples as well. And after that, there are levels of strategy. As you can see, as you know, in an organization, there are 3 levels of strategy, and corporate and SBU level and functional level. And we are going to discuss those 3 levels. And so once you understand the levels of strategy, then we'll move on to the digital business strategy part. This digital business strategy part will also tell you where you're going to be fit, like to which level of strategy the digital business strategy will fit in, right? So that's quite important. I mean, that's a good point you should understand in this lesson. And then we are going to understand how value, like as we say, yes, definitely information technology bring value to your organization. Yes, digital business strategy will give you knowledge, will give you competitive advantage to your organization. But how? The important of that, I mean, the point is that how do you get that value? So that we will speak, that we will discuss. So we will use some theoretical models like value chain analysis, so quite popular and well accepted models, and how the value is generated to your organization, And as one of the strategies of digital business strategy, the knowledge management will be discussed as a strategy. So this entire content will be discussed during the lesson in the first one of business management process and technology, which will give you an introductory session to your organization and digital business strategy, and also to the subject. All right, and we'll move to the second subject, managing technology in organization. Right. Uh, to understand how an organizational staff gets ready to work with technology. As I said, people know, the entrepreneurs know, the business leaders know the technology must be merged or blended with the organizational practices. But how? Before start that, your people, your culture, and your organization must know how to leverage, how to use, and how to get fit with these technologies, right? So, under this lesson, we talk about these sub-contents, like the significance of MOT. MOT stands for management of technology. How do you manage technology inside your organization, right? And these are new and like lovely subject areas: the innovations, disruptive innovation, and big data, fintech. This fintech refers to, guys, this fintech refers to financial technology, so which is quite a bit hard work. But when it comes to the lesson, I'll promise you with lively examples, like I can show you how financial technology is practicing even in Sri Lanka. Like with certain businesses, they have started some financial solution to present in digital basis. We'll bring them to the lesson as well, and you will understand what fintech exactly is. And we are going to speak about these are new terms: blockchain, cryptocurrencies. Some of you might not have even heard of these words, but don't just get scared. We promise to bring them to very simplified and comfortable zones to your understanding purposes. And IS controls are like information system controls. Like as we discuss how the technology to be managed, if you want to manage something, there has to be certain controls. Unless others, you can't manage. So what are these information controls that we are going to learn in this subject? And life cycle. There is a certain thing called technology life cycle. As you know, certain technologies are researched and they are introduced in the companies, and if they are good enough, then they will grow with the technologies and they will leverage on the technology, and after a certain time it will decline. So there is a small curve, like a life cycle, I would rather say, in technology. So that we will discuss under this subject, under this lesson. So this is the second lesson, and I hope that we will be having a good time with this second lesson in the coming up video series. All right. Then we'll move into the third lesson. This is a bit simplified and very easy lesson in your subject. Even though the term says digitalization of business and commerce, like it rather discusses of the unique features of digital businesses, digital applications, and advantages against traditional businesses, like what are the new things, what are the benefits, and what are the limitations of digital business likewise. So those things are discussed in the third lesson. So it says to give you an insight how businesses transform from traditional framework into digital. So as it says, this transformation, this change over from the traditional to the digital era, so that we will discuss. Under that, as I said, unique features of digital over traditional, and benefits and drawbacks of digital business. So these content will be discussed under the third lesson. All right. Number 4, which is coming from the second pillar, like managing information business pillar, and this will tell you how different systems, as you know, in order to run an organization, there are certain management functions, right? Supply side, buy side, HR side, financial side, marketing side, sales. So there are certain streams, so departments. So same information systems cannot be used to these different streams, these different departments. So understanding that, this lesson will tell you how different information systems play different unique roles in business environments or business organizations or in different departments, right? And under that, we have IS, IT, IM combination, like how information systems, information technology, information management will play around and play together. And these systems, like these are systems, EIS, MIS, DSS, BI, like these are new systems and how it's been fitted into different departments. And emerging technologies and impact, like we again discuss these new technologies, big data, IoT, data science. ML refers to machine learning. So how these are being used at companies and organizations, and what way, right? The way they are being used. So it will be much more practical scenario when it comes to the session, because it gives you, it will give you an idea how they are being used in the real world. With that, we are going to the 5th lesson. This is definitely a practical, this should have been a practical session 100%, because it says ERP systems, enterprise resource planning systems. So this lesson was brought to give an overall idea of ERP systems along with a theoretical explanation. So as I said, it would have been fantastic if this is totally a practical scenario session, but this has, theoretical concepts as basic concepts of ERP and components. What kind of components are there in ERPs, and advantages and limitations. So we attempt to show you with an example, with a real example, an example of an ERP and how it will work, what kind of components are there, and like what are the usages, how it's been used. So we'll show you with a real example how it's been worked out, right? So this will be a bit interesting, because we are going to understand a system, right? A live system. And yes, that's it about the 5th one. All right. And then we are going to the 6th lesson. As I said, this is from the 3rd pillar, and if you could remember, it's from the nature and scope of e-business. So we are quite interesting to move with this subject, this lesson, because it's very practical. You'll understand when it comes to lesson. So to get an understanding of e-business and e-commerce models with theoretical aspect, right? This theoretical aspect and understanding of this e-business and e-commerce models, right? This is quite important, because there are a lot of digital-based, internet-based businesses and ventures are happening all around the country, all around the world. But understanding the basic elements, for any business, for any organization, certain ground principles are there. So you being financial professionals, it's quite important to understand the basic concepts of this e-business model. So when your investors, when your marketeers, when your business people or other entrepreneurs come to you, when they bring ideas and solutions or new concepts, so you can guide them. See, these are the concepts, these are the revenue models, so these are the financial perspectives of this. So likewise you can guide them. So this is a quite an important, and I mean not only for for your examination, this will definitely help in your real, I mean even after examination this will help you out. All right. So we speak about e-commerce and e-business. Most of the people, like, they I mean they don't understand the difference between these two terms. So we are going to separate them and give you two insights about these terms. And we are going to understand the models B2B, B2C, C2C, like, which means business to business, business to customers, and customer to customer models, and the elements and types, and finally the benefits and limitations. So bringing your traditional business model into an e-business module, so what's the benefit and what are the limitations? So that will cover during this 6th lesson. All right. Then we'll move on to the 7th lesson. So as you know, I mean, when you start a business or when you work in this e-business environment, certain environmental facts will affect your business, will affect your financial module, your aspect, and your sustainability. So before you're moving to that, so you will have to analyze your environment. That we'll do in the lesson. So step by step, you have to understand how you are going to walk in your digital business and know the surrounding, right? And under that, we are going to learn e-business types, functions, and especially the digital consumer behavior. And this particular subject is still being examined and researched. So an interesting way, like how you being a digital fan, a digital visitor on your website, in a particular third-party website, and how you become a buyer of a product. So that pathway, that journey, that we'll discuss on this lesson. And finally, consumer profiles. As you know, when it comes to normal businesses, there are business segments, there are consumer profiles. For an example, you can say there are youth consumers. Let's say, for an example, we'll take an example, let's say Manchi Super Cream Cracker, right? So there are customer profiles. There are youth people who eat Manchi Super Cream Cracker, okay? There are old people, let's say above let's say 40, right? So this is a one customer profile. And there are people, sick people. When a person is sick, or I mean they are hospitalized, you buy Super Cream Cracker and you visit them. So let's say hospitals, or we can say sick. So when you are sick, you buy Munchie Super Cream Cracker. And let's say youth or hospitalized, and when you are going for a, let's say for an example, right? So when you go for a visitor's house, let's say one of your relations' house, so with that you take Munchie Super Cream Cracker. So there are four custom profiles, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Likewise, even in digital, you can identify what kind of custom profiles are there, right? So that's again an interesting, and we'll try to, we'll do it with Facebook especially, and show you how Facebook, from Facebook, how people track consumer audiences, consumer profiles, and target, right? So that we'll discuss. All right. After the 7th lesson, we are going into the 8th lesson, e-business applications, and this is a fully practical session, because this will show you how e-business softwares or applications are practically being used at organizations. So we are going to speak about the supply chain management, like your buy side, right? The mechanism, the softwares, the digital elements or tools available to help your supply chain, and HRM, operational management, and online payment system. So this is again critical and very important in Sri Lanka as well these days. Uh, Integrating third-party online payment gateways and directly from the banks. So it's quite important. So that we will discuss under the eighth lesson. All right, guys. So we have covered 8 lessons in your subject. With that, after this, we'll move into the, as I said, the digital marketing practices of the syllabus, the last 3 lessons. So these 3 lessons will mix the marketing elements, marketing aspects, theories, and marketing strategies with the digital components. So under that, the first lesson is the marketing practice for digital platforms. Under that, we will understand what are 4Ps, 7Ps, and online communication channels, e-tailing. Right. This e-tailing also refers to this e-tailing also refers to the e-commerce, like how you do buying and selling in your digital business home. And SEO is a CRM. Even SEO is also a part of these online communication channels. So that will discuss during this lesson. And I personally love these subjects because these are very industry based and very practical based, example based subject contents. All right. And as the 10th lesson, this will be mobile and social media marketing. How social media is brought into your boundary, right? How social media is impactful for organization. So what kind of benefits, what kind of disadvantages, limitations are there with social media? So that overall social media package is discussed under this 10th lesson. So we are going to understand what kind of steps are there, the introduction to social media, and the process framework. This will be a theoretical part, I would say. This process framework and digital funnel, and these are a bit theoretical aspect into the social media, but still it's interesting, I'll promise you. And viral marketing is also interesting when it comes to examples. These example, I promise you might have definitely heard and seen, but you don't know what it is exactly. So we are going to learn about viral marketing and then mobile marketing. So this is again will be example based and will be interesting for sure, as I promise you. All right. So after that, we are moving to the final lesson of your subject area, the digital business strategy, the content marketing. This is quite new to the marketing audiences as well, especially for Sri Lankan context, and this has been practiced in the world context for a long time. And we'll tell you what content marketing is, and right, and business models. Like even in content marketing, as we spoke about social media framework, there's a theoretical part to this part as well, to content marketing as well. So the business models and maturity models. So in content marketing, we are going to discuss about these two theoretical aspects. And after that, we talk about some email marketing. Even though like there's a myth in the industry, people say email marketing is not that much impactful, it doesn't bring value to people, but they under certain circumstances it helps, it supports. So we are going to cover that part as well. All right, so with that, I have covered you the 11 lessons, and under each lesson, remember, under each lesson, there's a part called importance of financial professionals, right? Why these each subject, each lesson is important for financial professionals, right? Uh, that I will discuss at the end of each lesson, because uh, the output, the deliverable from each lesson is different to another. So at the end of each lesson, that I will tell you, that I will explain further. Okay, and as I mentioned this at the at the beginning of this video as well, uh, the digital business scope or the strategy or the digital world is quite large. The scope is huge. As I said, it's emerging, and most of them are still being researched. So we can't speak a lot. We can't speak all the content available. So we'll try to the maximum level that we can go ahead. But end of the day, it'll what matters is your examination, right? So for your examination, I have summarized, I have narrowed down this entire scope based on the study text. So assuming that study text is the guide for examination, I have aligned the content area to the study text. So I'll be referring to the study text and to the other industry based explanations as well. All right, so how do we proceed? How do we face this entire 11 subjects and get through the examination? So this will be the plan, the strategy of ours, like at onlineaccounting.lk. How do we proceed? So these sessions, these 11 subjects are based on videos, right? So as you see, these interactive sessions, these interactive methods will be used, leveraged to enhance the experience, the digital interactive experience. So we'll be using video-based lecture series, and the presentations, the notes, the relevant materials definitely we'll make available for you. We'll give it to you then and there, wherever it's necessary. And definitely we'll give you MCQ questions to each lesson. So once you are done with a lesson, and when you have watched the video to the end, you can try our MCQ questions, so you can test yourself like where you are now. So then and there you can get the answers and see how knowledgeable, how you are, to what extent you are ready to the examination, that you can see. And with this all, we'll be giving a real life or practical examination, like examples, to simplify the content, also to get a more understanding on the industry exposure as well. And we'll present some additional videos as well, especially for new or emerging technologies. So we'll give you some additional video or additional content, and we'll discuss about the mock examination as well. So how I'm going to deal with examination, deal with papers, questions, and how we get out of that. And past paper discussions, definitely when the past papers have become available, we can't do it for the first batch because there are no past papers. So we'll start gradually. And even after that, even after all this stuff, still you have WhatsApp groups. So individually you can interact with myself, like whenever you have problems, whenever you have issues, and at the same time, there are circumstances that I want to pick certain live things happening in the society and align them to the subject. So that I will connect you via WhatsApp groups. So it's quite open for you to pick any issue or matter, so I can help you at my earliest possible and at the convenience possible. All right. With that, we are going to end of the video, end of the session, the introductory video session for the BL8, the Digital Business Strategy subject, and hope you having a good time and good understanding of the subject. And thank you so much for being with me, and hope to see you in the video series. Thank you.